Hi, I'm the Hopper from the Franchise Wars podcast, welcoming you to another Franchise Wars YouTube video, this time talking about one of the greatest cartoons ever made, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Among our many podcasts, there's an episode dealing with the very first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. You see, my companion podcaster, The Condor, had not actually seen the show, or at least not enough of it to really form a positive opinion. And while he came away from the show with a pretty good feeling for it overall, he still had some doubts. The purpose of this video is honestly to make him watch more of the show, especially Season 2. Now that's because of an episode I want to do on this YouTube channel in which we'll record his reactions to a particular episode, The Blind Bandit. If you've ever seen our podcast before, you may have an idea why, but if not, just wait till the end of this to find out why. So, to kind of start off with this episode for fun, I'm going to talk about how one of the key ingredients to Season 1 of Avatar being so good is having not one, but two main villains, Zuko and Zhao, and how important it is to the show as overall that they actually oppose each other throughout the first season. This pair of antagonists is dynamite, but not because of their individual threat levels towards the hero Aang and his companions. That's still a component, but no. What makes these two elevate the show is their rivalry against each other, a successful formula the show will repeat to even greater success later. The first major advantage of Zuko and Zhao's dueling storylines is in the way this subplot, entirely separate from the story of our heroic trio of Aang, Katara, and Sokka, fleshes out and defines the personalities, strengths, and weaknesses of both characters, giving them a depth incomparable to the shallow nature of your average Saturday morning cartoon villain. Zuko is the first villain we meet for the show, and while clearly more than just a scarred hunter, he benefits greatly from being foiled by Zhao early on in the series. Zuko's more honest and genuine nature is revealed by contrast when Zhao feigns respect for the fallen prince before mocking him, allowing the audience to draw a more admiring opinion of the prince's character. Likewise, while Zuko is clearly a hot-tempered, highly emotional, and tempestuous personality, his manner during his Agni Kai duel with Zhao revealed that he is highly disciplined, tightly focused, and open to taking advice from his wise uncle, the awesome General Iroh. After only one episode with Zhao, we as an audience know what virtues distinguish our main antagonist, Zuko, ones that make him somewhat anti-heroic when matched against Zhao. But we also know that he's more threatening to Aang because his virtues are actually dangerous ones for an enemy. Zhao, on the other hand, is immediately painted as an arrogant, self-aggrandizing, but ambitious military officer, one not entirely devoid of competence, which combines with his martial might to make him a more blunt and momentous villain for Aang. His brute force approach to his fight with Zuko highlights a more reckless but still skilled approach to combat and strategy, while his attempt to strike while Zuko's back is turned reveals that he is unbothered by the conventions of honor and has a willingness to abuse and destroy the system itself if it gets him ahead. All these traits foreshadow Zhao's efficient, if unimaginative, and dangerous approach to his objectives, such as his use of the Yuyan archers to capture Aang, to imprison him to prevent the Avatar's reincarnation, and his horrifically miscalculated attempt to conquer the Northern Water Tribe by killing the moon. The other big advantage of having two good but very distinct villains is they help to enhance the hero. The saying that a hero is only as good as his villains is a general rule of thumb that can be applied to any protagonist. Achilles' strength is multiplied by his enemy Hector's skill at arms. Miyamoto Musashi is proven as the greatest duelist by conquering the lethal long swordsman Sasuke Kojiro, and the Avengers gain serious cred by even just inconveniencing Thanos. Zhao and Zuko's rivalry allows them to both achieve greater success against Aang than normal villains, and to enhance each other's threat level more directly. Zhao is allowed to outright capture and imprison Aang in only his third physical appearance on the show, in intimidatingly short order using the Yuyan archers because the writers have decided to use this opportunity to have Zuko rescue Aang to demonstrate his own threat level. This one episode effectively communicates how Aang cannot afford to make any mistakes or directly confront Zhao, as the Admiral's resources and cunning use of them makes him too dangerous to hang around with. Zuko, meanwhile, gains serious badass points by successfully rescuing Aang using nothing but swordsmanship, acrobatics, and stealth, making a good case that any close-range struggle between himself and the heroes is not a favorable scenario for them. Aang's resourcefulness and skills are tested to the limit by his alliance of convenience with Zuko, earning his escape by the skin of his teeth. Later, Zhao again proves his lethality by blowing up Zuko's ship with the prince aboard, further highlighting his ruthless and underhanded nature. And even though Zuko survives, he's clearly not in great shape. But his attack sets up arguably Zuko's most impressive moment in all of Season 1, as the prince, deprived of all resources and manpower, and still suffering a bit from the explosion, single-handedly infiltrates the Northern Water Tribe, defeats waterbending prodigy Katara after being briefly subdued, and kidnaps Aang, coming frighteningly close to accomplishing his mission with nothing more than firebending and his bare hands. The audience is left at the end of the season knowing that Aang's defeat of Zhao and escape from Zuko show both his strength and that of his friends. Perhaps the most basic but effective dramatic element the rivalry between Zhao and Zuko brings to Season 1 is providing us with a second character to root for on the enemy's side. Zuko's end goal is just as evil as Zhao's in regard to Aang, but his motivations are far more sympathetic and noble, and unlike the Admiral, Zuko is hands-on, resourceful in his own way, and admirable for his strength of character. And because Zhao is such a ruthless and anger-inducing antagonist, the audience learns to prioritize their fear of Zhao succeeding over their fear of Zuko succeeding. At the tail end of the season, Zhao's vile nature makes him the larger, more imminent threat, not just to Aang and the Northern Water Tribe, but to the world at large, while Zuko's resourcefulness and determination means that he is no less personally threatening towards Aang. The finale is a very tense snarl of competing plot lines and threats. One stands very strong, despite not quite reaching the heights of Season 2's finale. And thus, Season 1, Book 1 Water of Avatar, The Last Airbender, while not perfect, sets an extremely high bar for the series, well beyond that of most cartoons and indeed, most TV shows, period. Which is why you should help me in making my podcasting partner, the Condor, watch more of this show, especially Season 2. There's a lot of reasons for this. The biggest is that Season 2 is awesome. But the other is that I do, again, want to have the Condor record a reaction video to the episode of Blind Bandit. And the reason for that is this. Look away, Condor! Look away! My podcasting partner is a big fan of professional wrestling, especially the Attitude Era, and he has no idea about Mick Foley voicing the Boulder, and that will blow his mind. So if you'd like to help me out here and help my partner Condor get to watch more of a great show, which he's not too hyped on just yet, all we have to do is this. First, go on to Apple iTunes Podcasts and download this episode, or go on to Buzzsprout and download it there as well. And second, go ahead and just kind of leave a like or some kind of comment here to go ahead and make that happen. He'll watch the show if we get over 40 downloads on that podcast episode. And we're already at 27, so all I need is 13 more downloads and we're good. The other one, though, requires some more input. And I'd love to get more input. Thank you. This has been a Franchise Wars podcast production. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe.